Am revenit în direct. Cum poate susține microfinanțarea proiectele sociale de antreprenoriat? Alături de mine este Jorgos PAPADAKIS, Managing Director la European Microfinance Network. Jorgos, hello. How are
Very
you?
nice to
Thank you
meet
very
you.
much that you are with
Pleasure.
us at ZF Live. First of all, who is the European Microfinance Network?
So the European Microfinance Network is a network of primarily microfinance institutions from around Europe that was initiated 21 years ago. We celebrated our 20th anniversary last year in Paris. And currently we have approximately 90 members from 22 European countries. And Romania is one of the key players for us.
Key player
Yes.
for us?
Yes.
Okay. You depend from the European Commission for the Brussels and so on? You're a private own, or what is the statute
So
of...
the European Microfinance Network is a non-for-profit organization and association that was funded by its members to represent the interests of the microfinance sector in the EU institutions. And a significant part of our financing also comes from the EU institutions, meaning the European Commission and the European Investment Bank, the EIB.
Okay. And what is the main purpose of this, let's say, network microfinance? We have some small project here or big projects, you tell me, in Romania, but how you see?
I would say that the main goal of VMN is to raise awareness about microfinancing in Europe, meaning that a lot of people from different parts of the society, it can be youth, it can be women, it can be micro-entrepreneurs, it can be even migrants, have needs for funding, have nice business ideas that they would like to see flourish. And unfortunately, they cannot be accepted by the conventional banking system. So you go to a bank, you present your idea, and because you're just a student or a migrant or a woman living in a remote area, they don't give you the money you need.
But in terms of money, what means microfinance? It's under what limit?
Yes. Well, the definition is not exactly clear. In many EU countries, up to 50,000 euros, it's still called microfinance. If you ask me, I think the threshold should be quite lower, up to 20,000 tops. So maximum 20,000 euros.
20,000 euro.
Yes.
Okay.
But usually, according to the data we receive from our members, approximately 60% of our projects are between 5 and 10,000 euros, not more.
Okay. In Romanian is part of this organization because it's a member of the European Union. How many projects do you have here? How many members do you have here?
We have approximately 30 members in Romania. 30 members. Romania is one of the strongest countries for Yemen.
For women?
Not for women only, but for us as a network.
For us, okay.
Yes, for Yemen.
How comes?
I will tell you, it's exactly because people were seeking for financial assistance and were rejected by the banks. So this created the need for smaller microfinance institutions to be able to assist in this kind of cases. Also, a very important element of the whole Romanian microfinance landscape is that the National Bank of Romania has enabled a very favorable environment for microfinance institutions to flourish. This is not the case, unfortunately, in other EU member states. For example, in Germany, the National Bank does not allow microfinance.
Microfinance?
Yes.
Okay, so in Romania, the National Bank of Romania permits microfinance.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so it's maybe surprising, but it's the truth.
Okay. So how many institutions develop this department microfinance?
Well, there are institutions that practically do this for a living. So they only do that. They don't do anything else. We also have members.
Can you
as BCR social? Yeah.
BCR social.
BCR social finance is let's say specialized in providing assistance for specific socially vulnerable groups. Let me put it like this. So in this case, they don't only do microfinance, but they do also small projects that help these kind of micro entrepreneurs to develop their projects, their business ideas. But the majority of our members in Romania and in Europe are MFIs, the so-called MFIs, microfinance institutions that only do microfinance, meaning they only provide microcredits to those people who cannot get these kind of microcredits from other financial institutions.
Okay. In Romania, despite BCR social, what are the other members?
Well, they're primarily smaller MFIs, smaller microfinance institutions. One very important member of ours and co-organizer also of the annual conference of EMN, which is happening now these days in Bucharest, is the Romanian Microfinance Association, which is an association that gathers all microfinance institutions from Romania under the same roof. So they are a member of ours. They are helping us in developing the network here in Romania, and we are helping them with the expertise and the advocacy that we're getting from the European Union.
So you have money from the European Commission and you disburse money to, let's say, for this company, and this company work with the client.
Let me clarify this. So EMN as a network does not have the right to disburse money. So it goes to our members, and the members, the microfinance institutions, they disburse the money directly. We are playing the role of, let's say, the advocacy, the intermediate, so that this money keeps on flowing towards our members, because this is the most important thing, to persuade the Commission and the other European institutions that microfinancing is a very important means to tackle social injustice, for example.
Okay, in Romania, how many market disburse? Not you, member disburse.
Well, I don't have the exact figures now in terms of...
But it will be million...
Several millions, yes. Several millions. I would even go further as up to maybe 100 million euros on an annual basis.
Okay, and about the market, what are the main, let's say, project, the main business that need this kind of money, so microfinance?
It's very diverse. So you can our members fund a very wide palette, a very wide spectrum of projects, from a local hairdresser to hairdresser, yes.
Okay.
A beekeeper, somebody who is growing raspberries in a village close to Iași. Yes, you name it. All sorts of micro projects that can be included within this scope of financing.
In how many years this client, let's say, can pay the loan?
Look, there is no rule for that. Usually we give there is a grace period, of course, and we give the opportunity for the beneficiary to repay in a period of 5, 7, or even 10 years.
10 years.
What is important is that if in the meantime he or she finds some difficulties in repaying, he can come back to our members and say, guys, look, I have some difficulties, and we can negotiate always about refinancing of the microcredit. We are not as strict as the banks in this respect.
But if you look at the Romanian market, compare with other market, in terms you mentioned, from regulation, Germany's market, it's
one of the best.
Yeah,
one of the best.
One of the best, and Romania, it's a good market for microfinance. It's a good market for microfinance, Romanian?
Yes, I would say, I'll give you an example because I like to talk with examples. So every time that the European Commission or the EIB, the European Investment Bank, is providing, let's say, calls, gives money to all the 27 member states regarding social inclusion, inclusive finance, impact investing, and so on and so on. Romania is always among the top recipients of these funds. That says a lot. It says, first of all, that there is a need for this kind of assistance in Romania still. After all these years of EU membership, still there is a need for the Romanian society to get these funds. And another important thing to me says that the Romanians are very proactive, and they don't they sit down, they draft proposals, they submit the proposals, and they get the money. Otherwise, you cannot get it. So it speaks in favor of the Romanians that they have been creative, they have been very, very thorough in their work, and they are receiving the money. Otherwise, there is nothing like a freelance, as they say.
Yeah, but in the end, at the end, we repay the money?
Yes, yes. Yes,
We
the
repay the
repayment,
money.
the repayment
What is
rate
the,
is quite
let's say-
high. It's very high. I don't have the exact figure. It's very
Okay,
high.
okay.
Nobody has complained about that
Okay.
in Brussels.
If you look at all the European Union, all the member states, which state is the most advanced in microfinance and with result?
I'll tell you, there are several models of microfinance. The Romanian model is a very positive one, but there are other countries like France, for example, where there are not hundreds of microfinancing institutions. There are very few, primarily one. They are big, they're very big, but it's practically a monopoly. And this is also a model that works quite well for France. Maybe for Romania, it would not work well, but it certainly covers the needs of France. In Greece, for example, we have a different model. We have a lot of involvement of the cooperative banks, which is not the case in Romania or in France or in Belgium. So cooperative banks are also very much involved. So there are several models that each country could use according to its needs, and they are all quite effective. What is not effective, and this is what we're trying to change by advocating in Brussels, is to have countries like Germany, where the legal framework does not allow us to work.
Maybe the Germany don't need this microfinance.
Well, with all the influx of the migrants over the past few years, I think they do.
Okay. In Romanian, how you see, let's say, the development of the market? If you talk, let's say, with the National Bank of Romania or the other, let's say, the other banks, okay, and somebody talks to you, Jorgos, what is your opinion? It's worth to develop microfinance? Or it's, let's say, we put money in CSR, we lose money at the end in 10 years, but we do something for the society.
I think it's a win-win situation also for the banks. I mean, it's not an accident that BCR is doing it in Romania because they have a very strong social background. Their parent company, Erste Bank in Austria, is practically created as a social enterprise. It's owned by a foundation. So this is a very rare example of how a bank can really be involved in social projects. So I think I fully understand that not every bank has this model, and sometimes because of the different terms, because our microfinancing institutions are not banks, so the terms are different. So they feel that they should not be involved in this kind of terms, and they should pursue their, let's say, conventional banking. But I would encourage all of them to see what kind of an excellent job PCR social finance is doing in Romania, and follow this example.
Okay. If you compare with other countries, you mentioned it's a good country. No, a good model maybe in France. Okay, it's big enough to cover all the sector. In other country, another model. Here in Romania, do you see a need for some part of the country? You mentioned Iași. Okay, we talk about all the time. We talk about that Moldova is not so, it's underdeveloped.
True.
So, if you look at the Romanian, do you see a need to go there to put money in Moldova or in South in Oltenia, or it doesn't matter?
No, it does matter. It does matter. I mean, of course, our members will never shut the door to somebody who is in Bucharest, or I don't know, in Cluj, but indeed, the priority should be given, and it is given actually by our members into rural areas of Romania, where also the brain drain, and we're going to discuss it tomorrow in our conference, the brain drain is very high. So young people are fed up. They cannot find any opportunity to stay in their villages or towns and work there, and they just take the plane and go to Italy or to other parts of Europe to work there. So we need to make sure that these people at least have a chance to stay there if they want to stay there.
Okay, but do you think if we put, let's say, this project, microfinance, I give you 10,000 euro to develop some cakes or fruits or you may name it, the people will stay?
I think
Is a chance to stay
yes,
here?
because in these small communities, when you see that somebody has succeeded out of nothing, because 5 or 10,000 euros for any kind of banking institution is really peanuts. And if they see a success model, they would be interested to follow. There are a lot of business ideas. I told you, we fund through our members a vast amount of mini projects. So you only need to be creative and need to feel that you are supported. And that's why for us it's very, very important also to work together with the local governments, regional and local governments, decentralized authorities, because not everything should come or could come from Bucharest or from the capitals.
But in Romanian, at the authority, who is responsible? Is responsible the government, is Bucharest, or is responsible the mayor or local community for this kind of project?
The whole framework is centrally regulated, but each local authority, each local government or regional government has also the opportunity to chip in. For example, I'll give you an example. When there is we have members in other parts of Europe where the town is a shareholder of an MFI, of a microfinance institution. So practically is a public-private partnership.
Okay.
This is, for me, one of the best ways to work also in Romania and try to resolve these kind of issues like brain drain, like people leaving, deserting their homelands and so on and so forth.
In Romanian, and also compare with other projects, the project is made by the men, women, young people, old people.
Well, the majority, I would say, is they are young people because they usually have the best business ideas. And they are also quite disadvantaged because, as you know, they just finish their studies. They don't have the best credit rating or no credit rating at all.
No jobs, no money.
So when they go to the banks,
no parents,
exactly,
no financial parents, let's say.
Yes. So usually when they go to a bank with a business idea, they get rejected. So this is where we step in, and that's why the majority is indeed involving young people. But not only. There are a lot of women, and we give special focus on women entrepreneurship, because this is a very important part. If everybody's speaking about gender equality and so on and so forth, but we need to see it also in real terms. And this is not yet happening. And that's why we consider women as a vulnerable group, especially in rural areas. And we need to put a special accent towards helping women. And this is something that we have been doing for the past 20 years.
So, the Brussels was a new election, will be maybe a new commissionary,
sure.
change, okay, for sure. Do you think with this kind of microfinance will be on the table to develop more, to take some inclusion? Because the people are very angry right now.
Yes.
Because, the banks are very powerful. The banks don't talk to all the people, talk to the big people. Yeah. And the people are very, very angry.
This is a very good question.
Especially the young people.
Yes.
The young people in Germany, France, vote with right extreme.
Yes, it's a very good question. And people are rightfully angry. So our duty as EMN is to try and convince the Commission, the new Commission, and all the financing instruments of the European Union, because there are a lot, that investing in this kind of sectors like microfinancing makes sense and changes lives of people and young people who are currently, as you rightfully said, are angry and are voting ultra-right without actually knowing what ultra-right is. So we need to keep up the pressure towards the EU institutions and highlight that through microfinancing we can indeed change not only the financial situation but also the mindsets of people, which is very important. And I would also add an additional element of concern now with with the war in Ukraine over the past 2 years, we have seen a huge shift within the EU budget. A lot of money goes now to the defensive mechanisms of the European Union in each member state. So we need to make sure that despite that, our members will still have enough money dispersible from the European institutions to continue doing what they are doing. That they will not lose this money because they will be spent to buy Rafale or fighter planes or missiles.
Yeah,
That's
but
very
now
important.
this is right now the topic.
It is.
How can send more weapon to Ukraine to fight with the Russians?
It is, and that's why our job has become much more difficult now to persuade the Commission that despite the fact that there is maybe a threat coming towards the European Union, we need to make sure that internally we should not lose our cohesion. And cohesion is safeguarded also with projects financed by microfinancing institutions.
Okay, you're born in Greece.
Yes.
And right now you work in Brussels.
True.
Okay. Why?
Well, there are a lot of...
It's the same question to our people because they are born here, the university or the schools come from here, and then they left.
I think I can't give you a very single answer. I would say there's a combination of things. First of all, I always wanted to live abroad. So I partly studied abroad. I started to work abroad when I was in my mid-20s, early 30s. And I always wanted to experience how it is living and working abroad. That's one thing. The second thing is that, especially for Brussels, I received an offer to work in the European Parliament that I could not. I always wanted to see how working for a European institution looks like from inside. So
how is it to work from inside?
It's very interesting. But
as
you see now, I left. I no longer work for a European institution. So that tells you also something.
Yeah, but you depend for the money, for the European institution, for the Commission.
Yes, that's true. And that's also part of the social responsibility the European Commission, the European Union has towards its citizens. But I never regretted the fact that I worked in a European institution or for a European institution, but it was not for me. Now I'm feeling much more comfortable here.
This project, I mean microfinance, with all the members, how many millions they have on their budget to disburse? I mean, it's hundreds, it's billion, it's...
We are talking, if we're talking about only microfinancing, there are I would say, several hundreds of millions.
Several hundreds of millions,
yes. But exactly because there is this kind of labyrinth of financial institutions, you have smaller chips of this funding. I mean, the DG Employ from the European Commission regulates one part of this budget. DG NEAR regulates another part. EIB a third part. EIF a fourth part, and so on and so forth. So
it's a nightmare.
Yes, it looks like a big pot, but we are only dealing with chunks of it.
Okay. So, thank you very much for this discussion.
A
fost Jorgos Papadakis, Managing Director European Microfinance Network. Cam atât a fost ZFL de astăzi. Ne revedem mâine de la ora 12. O zi bună în continuare.
Știu ce spun.
Cresc tensiunile dintre Statele Unite și China. Au ieșit și s-au atacat reciproc.
Nu se poate. Unul fără celălalt ar fi dezastru.
Știu ce te interesează.
Ciolacu vrea să mai scadă din atribuțiile primarului de București. Nu a întrebat pe nimeni, nici măcar pe specialiștii lui.
Mi se pare aberant.
Știu cum să te fac curios.
A început invazia avatarurilor care vor fi profesori în școlile din Europa. E un mare succes.
Tu nu te duci la școală doar ca să afli lucruri noi. Școala te pregătește să fii un bun cetățean.
Știu cum să te emoționezi.
reacționezi.
Singurătatea este una din bolile secolului.
Ai nevoie de tine, în primul rând, și apoi de oameni.
Să stai un pic să te așezi emoțional.
Știu să convin.
Republica Moldova este acuzată că a încălcat drepturile omului.
I-ați blocat la mantinelă pe niște candidați care nu vă plăceau? Așa face și Putin. Care mai e diferența între tine și Putin?
Cu alte cuvinte, Uniunea Europeană a spus
Maia
că...
Sandu putinistă.
Nu?
Știu să câștig.
Rămânem prieteni, da?
Promit.
Știu, deci știi.